Have you ever pondered why Abraham is considered the father of all nations? This isn't just a title bestowed upon him out of respect or even reverence, but a testament to his enduring legacy that transcends millennia, cultures, and religious boundaries. Abraham, a figure of monumental significance, is a shared patriarch among three of the world's most influential religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Each tradition reveres him, interpreting his story through unique lenses, yet recognizing his profound impact on their spiritual heritage. Born in the ancient city of Ur, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Abraham's early life was steeped in the city's rich culture and bustling commerce. But even amid the vibrancy of Ur, Abraham felt a pull, a calling that would ultimately lead him away from his familiar surroundings. The call to journey from his homeland wasn't a casual decision. It was a divine instruction, a celestial mandate that would pull him from the comforts of his city life into the uncertainty of wandering. This wasn't a journey embarked upon lightly, it was a leap of faith, a testament to his unwavering trust in the divine. Abraham's journey, both physical and spiritual, is a tale of courage and conviction, of faith and fortitude. It's about answering a call that challenges the status quo, that disrupts comfort zones, and that requires a profound trust in something greater than oneself. In his story, we find echoes of our own journeys, our own quests for purpose and meaning, our own leaps of faith. We see ourselves in his doubts and his decisions, his trials and his triumphs. And through his experiences, we gain insights into our own spiritual journeys. So let's embark on this journey together, delving into the life and legacy of this remarkable figure. Let's explore the shared heritage of faith, the common threads that weave through our diverse spiritual traditions. And so Abraham, guided by divine instruction, embarked on a journey that would shape the course of history. A journey that continues to inspire, to challenge, and to guide us even today. A journey that truly makes Abraham the father of all nations. Abraham's faith was rewarded with a promise that would echo through the ages. This was not just any promise, it was a covenant, a sacred bond between God and Abraham, a pact that would shape the course of human history. Imagine this, a man, Abraham, approached by God. He's promised descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, as countless as the grains of sand on the seashore. A mind-boggling proposition considering Abraham and his wife Sarah were well advanced in years and childless. Yet Abraham believed. He didn't question or doubt, he simply believed. The covenant didn't stop there. God promised Abraham the land of Canaan, a land flowing with milk and honey. Canaan, a place where his descendants would grow and multiply, a place where they would be molded into a great nation. Again, Abraham's response was faith. He obeyed and embarked on the journey God had set before him, not knowing where he was going, but trusting in the one who was leading him. Abraham's faith and obedience are key aspects of this covenant. It's easy to gloss over them, but it's essential to pause and consider their significance. Abraham's faith wasn't passive, it was active, demonstrated through his obedience. He didn't merely believe in God's promise, he acted on it. He packed up his life, left his home, and followed God's leading. This faith and obedience didn't go unrecognized. God saw Abraham's trust and credited it to him as righteousness. This man, Abraham, became the father of many nations, the patriarch of faith for countless generations. Through this covenant, God set in motion a story that transcends time, a story of faith, obedience, and promise, a story that would lay the groundwork for a lineage that included kings, prophets, and ultimately, the Messiah. Thus, the stage was set for a story of faith, promise, and profound legacy. A legacy that began with a promise to a man named Abraham, a promise that continues to reverberate through the ages. In the midst of waiting for the fulfillment of God's promise, a son was born. This was Ishmael, born to Abraham and Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian maid. It was a time of uncertainty, of wavering patience, and in this climate, Ishmael's arrival was a beacon of hope. To fully grasp the magnitude of this event, we must first understand the cultural and religious backdrop of the time. In the ancient world, having a son was not just about carrying on the family name. It was about survival, about ensuring the continuation of the lineage. And in Abraham's case, it was about the promise God had made to him, a promise of descendants as numerous as the stars. But waiting can be a trying endeavor, even for someone as faithful as Abraham. Sarah, unable to bear her own child, offered her maid Hagar to Abraham. This was not an uncommon practice in their culture. Through Hagar, Abraham hoped to fulfill God's promise, and so Ishmael was born. However, the birth of Ishmael was not without its complications. It created a rift in Abraham's household, sowing seeds of discord between Sarah and Hagar, between mother and son, between promise and fulfillment. This was a complex situation, a tangle of emotions and expectations, and it would have far-reaching consequences. Yet amidst all this, Ishmael was not just a point of contention. He was a child, a son, a symbol of hope in the waiting. He was a testament to Abraham's faith and a reminder of God's promise, albeit not in the exact way Abraham had envisioned. Ishmael's birth was a significant event, a ripple that would extend into future generations. It marked a pivotal point in Abraham's story, a junction of faith, patience, and divine promise. It was a step towards the fulfillment of God's promise, but it was also a deviation, an unexpected turn in the narrative. Ishmael's birth was a momentous event, but the story was far from over. The birth of Isaac was yet to come, and with it, a new chapter in Abraham's journey, a chapter that would further shape the destiny of nations and the course of history. The promise was fulfilled not in the way Abraham expected, but in a way that showcased divine providence. It's a tale of patience, faith, and the miraculous, a tale of a child born to parents far beyond the typical childbearing years, a child whose birth was foretold by divine promise. This is the story of Isaac, son of Abraham and Sarah. Sarah, who had been barren for so long, felt the stirrings of new life within her at an age when most women were grandmothers, even great-grandmothers. She was 90 years old, a fact that seemed to defy all logic and nature. Abraham, too, was well advanced in years, 100 to be exact. But this was no ordinary birth. This was a divine intervention, a fulfillment of a promise that God had made to Abraham. When Isaac was born, there was an outpouring of joy. Abraham and Sarah laughed, their hearts full of happiness and relief. Their laughter was not one of disbelief, as it had been when they first heard the promise, but a laughter of joy, of fulfillment. They named their son Isaac, which means he will laugh, a fitting name for a child whose birth brought so much joy and whose life was to be filled with so much promise. The birth of Isaac was significant in many ways. It was a validation of God's promise to Abraham and Sarah, a testament to their faith and patience. It was also the beginning of a lineage that would shape the course of history. Isaac was the torchbearer of Abraham's legacy, the next link in the chain of the covenant between God and Abraham. But perhaps more importantly, Isaac's birth underscored the theme of divine providence that runs through the story of Abraham. It showed that God's plans may not align with human expectations or timelines, but they always come to fruition in ways that are far better and far more profound than what we could ever imagine. Isaac's birth marked the beginning of a new chapter in this epic tale. Isaac was not just a child of promise, but a beacon of hope and a symbol of God's unwavering faithfulness. Faith, as we know, is often tested, and Abraham's faith was no exception. Picture this, a man standing on the brink of an unthinkable act. Abraham, the father of nations, confronted by a divine command that challenged every fiber of his being. This was no ordinary request. God had commanded Abraham to sacrifice his son, Isaac, the very son through whom God had promised to establish a great nation, the son who was the embodiment of all of Abraham's hopes and dreams for the future. Yet, despite the heart-wrenching nature of this command, Abraham was prepared to follow through. His willingness to obey was not born out of blind submission, but rather, it was a testament to his unwavering faith in God. He believed in God's promise, even when the path to its fulfillment seemed shrouded in darkness. He trusted in God's wisdom, even when it defied his understanding. As Abraham raised his hand, ready to make the ultimate sacrifice, something extraordinary happened. A divine intervention came at the 11th hour. An angel of the Lord called out to Abraham, commanding him to spare his son. In the thicket nearby, a ram appeared, provided by God as a substitute for Isaac. The story doesn't end with the physical act of saving Isaac. It's about the metaphysical meaning behind it all. In that moment, Abraham's faith was not only tested, but also affirmed. He had demonstrated an unshakable trust in God, a trust so profound that it was willing to surrender the most precious thing to him. This event served as a pivotal moment in Abraham's journey. It underscored the depth of his faith, and it fortified the promise God had made to him. It was a testament to the power of faith, to the strength that comes from complete surrender to divine will. In this profound moment, Abraham's faith was affirmed and the promise was secured. His story serves as a timeless reminder that faith often requires sacrifice, and that true obedience is born out of trust, not fear. It's the story of a man, a father, a believer whose faith continues to inspire us centuries later. Abraham's sons, Ishmael and Isaac, carried forward his legacy in their own unique ways. Born of different mothers, these two sons navigated the world, each leaving an indelible mark on history. Ishmael, the elder of the two, born to Hagar, found his destiny in the wilderness. He became the father of 12 princes, each leading a tribe. These tribes spread across the desert, from Havilah to Shur, east of Egypt. Ishmael's descendants, known as the Ishmaelites, thrived as a strong and free people, fulfilling the prophecy that they would live in defiance of all their kin. On the other hand, Isaac, born to Sarah, was the child of promise. He became the father of Esau and Jacob, and it was through Jacob that the 12 tribes of Israel came into existence. Isaac's descendants became a great nation, just as God had promised Abraham. The Israelites, as they were called, lived in the land of Canaan, the promised land, and they played a crucial role in the unfolding of biblical history. In their own ways, both Ishmael and Isaac fulfilled God's promise to Abraham. Ishmael's descendants, living in the wilderness, embodied the strength and freedom that God had promised Hagar. Isaac's descendants, living in the promised land, were the fulfillment of God's covenant with Abraham. But the legacy of Abraham's sons extends beyond the boundaries of their respective tribes or nations. It stretches across time and space, impacting cultures and religions across the globe. The descendants of Ishmael are considered by many to be the forefathers of the Arab nations, while Isaac's descendants are seen as the ancestors of the Jewish people. In the end, the lives of Ishmael and Isaac, their trials, their triumphs, their lineages, all contribute to the grand narrative of faith, promise, and divine providence that is the legacy of their father Abraham. Through his sons, Abraham's legacy lived on, shaping nations and shaping history. Every journey, however great, has an end. So it was with Abraham. In the fullness of his years, Abraham, the father of all nations, breathed his last. His was not a tragic end, but a peaceful one, a fitting conclusion to a life marked by faith and obedience. His journey had been long, filled with trials and triumphs, but he remained steadfast, his faith unwavering until the very end. Abraham's legacy was not just his progeny, but his unwavering faith. He had lived a life of complete surrender to divine will, even when it had asked the unthinkable of him. His faith was the compass that guided him, and it was this faith that he bequeathed to his son, Isaac. Just as the divine promise had foretold, Isaac inherited Abraham's wealth, his flock, and above all, his faith. But Abraham's legacy extended beyond his immediate family. His faith became the foundation of 3 great religions that would span continents and endure millennia. His story, his struggles, and his triumphs became lessons in faith and obedience for countless generations. His journey became a testament to the power of unwavering faith, a beacon for those lost in the wilderness of doubt. The father of all nations, Abraham did not just father a physical lineage, but a spiritual one. His life was a testament to the fact that faith is not a passive acceptance of fate, but an active pursuit of divine will. And it was this active faith, this courageous surrender to the divine, that defined his journey and continues to inspire millions today. Abraham's death was not the end, but the beginning, the genesis of a legacy that would shape the course of human history. His faith did not die with him, but lived on, growing stronger with each passing generation. His story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of faith and the promise of divine providence. Though Abraham's journey had ended, his story was far from over. His faith, his obedience, and his unwavering trust in divine providence continue to inspire and guide us even today. The journey of Abraham, the father of all nations, is a timeless tale of faith and obedience, a testament to the enduring power of divine promise. Abraham's story is more than just a tale of faith and promise. It's a treasure trove of lessons for us all. The life of Abraham, a man revered by millions across the globe, unfolds as a masterclass in faith, obedience, patience, and the power of divine promise. Let's delve into these lessons, each one an intricate thread woven into the tapestry of his remarkable journey. Firstly, faith. Abraham's belief in a higher power was unshakable, even when circumstances seemed dire. His unwavering faith is a beacon, a vivid reminder that faith is not just about believing when it's convenient, but holding on, even when the road gets rough. Next, we see obedience in its purest form. When Abraham was asked to leave his homeland, he didn't question or hesitate. He simply obeyed. His obedience didn't depend on understanding the whys and hows. It was an act of trust, a testament to his conviction that sometimes the right path isn't the easiest one. Then there's patience, a virtue that was certainly not lost on Abraham. He waited for years for the fulfillment of divine promise, never once losing hope. His patience reminds us that good things come to those who wait, and that time often brings with it the answers we seek. Finally, the power of divine promise. Abraham's story is steeped in the promise of a better future, a promise that was fulfilled despite all odds. This underlines the importance of holding on to hope, of believing in a brighter tomorrow, no matter how dark today may seem. These lessons from Abraham's story serve as a compass, guiding us through the labyrinth of life, helping us to navigate our own trials and tribulations. They are the echoes of an ancient past, whispering wisdom into our present, shaping our future. In the story of Abraham, we find timeless truths that continue to resonate with us today. Centuries have passed since Abraham's time, but his legacy continues to shape the world we live in. The tale of Abraham, a man who answered the divine call, transcends time and culture, finding a home in the hearts of billions across the globe. Let's delve into the enormous influence of this patriarch and prophet on the three major monotheistic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His story is a common thread, a shared heritage that binds these faiths together. In Judaism, Abraham is revered as the founding father, the one who established the covenant with God. His unwavering faith, even when asked to sacrifice his son Isaac, remains a cornerstone of Jewish belief and practice. Abraham's story is a testament to the enduring covenant between God and the Jewish people, a bond that has withstood the test of time. For Christians, Abraham is a beacon of faith and obedience. His willingness to heed God's call, leave his homeland, and venture into the unknown exemplifies the Christian ethos of trust in divine guidance. Abraham's faith is seen as a precursor to the new covenant through Christ, a blueprint of unwavering devotion to God's will. In Islam, Abraham, or Ibrahim as he is known, is esteemed as an exemplar of monotheism, a prophet who rejected idolatry and embraced the oneness of God. His life is commemorated annually during Eid al-Adha, a festival that honors his willingness to sacrifice his son Ishmael in obedience to God's command. From the synagogues of Jerusalem to the churches of Rome, from the mosques of Mecca to the homes of believers worldwide, the story of Abraham resonates. His journey of faith, obedience, and sacrifice is imprinted in the collective consciousness of these faith traditions. Indeed, Abraham's journey continues to guide us, reminding us of the power of faith and the promise of divine providence. So we return to our initial question: why is Abraham considered the father of all nations? The thread woven throughout this narrative is Abraham's unwavering faith. He trusted in the divine promise, a promise that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars. This faith guided him even when asked to sacrifice his son Isaac, a test of obedience that is still spoken of today. This faith did not go unrewarded. Abraham's sons, Ishmael and Isaac, each birthed a lineage that would grow into great nations. Through them, Abraham's legacy continues to shape the world. It's in the faith of those who look to him as a patriarch, in the stories told and retold across generations, and in the values that guide millions today. In essence, Abraham's journey is not just a personal story, but a shared narrative of faith, obedience, and divine promise. Abraham's journey is a testament to faith, obedience, and divine promise, making him a figure of immense importance in our shared spiritual heritage.